This is a Sherman L, and this is a Sherman L. I have two Sherman Ls. I'll take this one.
Hey, I'm Leo, and this is a video about an electric unicycle, the Sherman L. On this channel we talk a lot about vehicles, 3D printing and different kind of tech. And well, this is a different kind of tech. You've probably seen my videos on the Cybertruck topic, which I absolutely love, to be honest, and I really think that this is the best vehicle that I've ever driven, and I don't really care what anyone says.
First time ever.
I like unusual tech things, and you might be thinking what could be possibly more unusual than a Tesla Cybertruck, because it's so triangular and unusual and blah blah blah. Well, this thing. And it's a great pair to whatever truck you own, especially if it's an electric one. These things are incredible to ride, yet they look goofy sometimes, but they are incredible to ride, and when you ride them, it feels like you're flying. It is really hard to explain that. They also probably are the most practical compact vehicles that you can get for money nowadays, and the most natural to control. And the Sherman L is probably one of the best wheels for a very long time. But we'll talk about that in a second. Now, BROLL. I want to talk about this wheel from a perspective of someone who owned the Lynx previously and then rode the L for a very extended period of time, and compare these two wheels. So you can decide what you like more and what you like less and stuff like that.
Okay, a little bit of a first impressions here. So people usually say that it feels almost like the Lynx. I would say yes and no. It feels bigger. It feels like a wider wheel, and I know that it's a little bit lower as well, so it feels much more stable than the Lynx, but the Lynx feels a little bit more sort of like a quicker wheel. I think it's not the case, because it's pretty much the same everything, and this wheel theoretically should be quicker, but I mean, the feeling, you know, probably it's a smaller wheel, but who knows. There is a street bump here. I want to test the suspension. Yeah, it feels pretty similar to the Lynx suspension. I like how the suspension works out of the box. I didn't change anything. It feels pretty soft, even softer than the Lynx. Probably they changed something for the suspension, I'm not quite sure what, but it definitely feels softer, maybe because of the weight of the wheel, but it's 6 kilos difference. I don't know, really. It feels definitely slightly different, but I like it way more than on the Lynx. On the Lynx it was on the sporty side, this is a cruiser and feels like a cruiser, really. It is pretty maneuverable because it feels slower. That's nice. And it's a little bit wider as well. It feels very, very stable. This wheel doesn't feel like it wobbles at all. So it's just like a freaking train on the rails.
A lot of people look at this newer wheel and they think that it's pretty much a Lynx with a bigger battery and a bit more weight. But that's not the whole story. There are some differences that I think people are missing, and for that we need to take a look at the numbers. Let's start with the most obvious. The Lynx has 2700 watt-hour battery and the Sherman L has 4000 watt-hour battery. Of course, it's also heavier, 102 pounds versus 88 pounds on the Lynx, so you're looking at about 14 pound difference, which, let's be honest, isn't the end of the world. Do you feel it when you ride it? The short answer is no. Now here's an interesting part. The battery is almost 40% bigger, but the total weight only went up by about 15%. What does that actually mean? It means that the new wheel is much more efficient with its weight. It's not a simple one-to-one upgrade. You are actually getting more range than that 40% battery increase would suggest you, due to lighter weight to battery size difference. It's a bigger jump in performance than you might think. So what is about the range? Today is an amazing day for the range test for my Sherman L, and it's not going to be fully scientific from 100% down to 0. It's going to be from about 99% down to whatever. So buckle up and let's do that.
So it's 99%, 149.2 volts, or close to that.
As you can tell, I'm not going at the maximum speed because I don't like that stuff. I'm just going at the speed that makes sense because this is a bike trail. There is a lot of cyclists around which are definitely going slower and regular pedestrians, so you gotta be mindful. Okay, so let's do this as the first checkpoint. Check the view, by the way. I mean, I know the place where the view is even prettier, but it's pretty not bad. 8.2 kilometers and I have 88%. And how I said, it's not scientific because I'm going up the mountain and I spend a lot of energy just to drag my weight to the top, which we are going to do now. Oh, it's so beautiful. I wish you could share it with me. It's incredible here. We absolutely love these things because they can take you to the places like this in just a few minutes if you are lucky enough to live somewhere around, because this is absolutely beautiful and it takes you much longer to get here in a car and then hike a little bit to see all this beauty. But anyway, let's check the numbers.
Okay, and here's the numbers. Still 88%, still 146.5 volts, which is impressive, but it's already 11 kilometers. That's weird, considering that I was going uphill.
Every trial was a teacher, every fall was a rise. Kept my head up through the storm with my eyes on the prize. They can't hold me down, I got fire in my soul. Destiny's my partner, we out of control. Heart of a lion, I've been clawing through the fight. From the trenches to the towers, now I'm basking in the light. No more looking back, it's my moment to seize. With the world in my palm, I'm the king of my dreams.
And while we're riding, I want to share a couple of words about the turkey wheels, which the veteran wheels are. And when usually people think about buying turkey wheels, they think about going uphill. You are thinking about going up, which is fine, which is part of that, which is important as well. But I think that the most important part of the torque of your wheel is that if you go downhill and you want to suddenly brake, you want to stop or you want to slow down, this is actually what that torque for. It is crucial because it's all about your safety. If you see some obstacle down there, you definitely need to slow down, and if you don't have enough of torque, well, you will not. This is what torque is about. Not just about sudden acceleration or about going uphill. It's about your safety too. Think about it. And that's a couple of deers. I'm not quite sure if the camera delivers how steep it is, but it's quite steep for a regular road. I would say maybe 15 to 20 degrees going up. And I don't feel any struggle at all from the wheel. It just goes and goes and goes and goes. And goes.
Okay, it says Kelowna city limit, means that the city of Kelowna ends behind this sign, and this is a place where I tested the light bar for my Cybertruck in one of the previous videos. So let's check the voltage, and it's 138.3, 66%, 138.6 volts, 41 kilometers of range, and the maximum speed is 0.2 kilometers. I said I was not going too fast. Okay, and now it's time to go home, and we are going in this direction. And by the way, from here you can see the whole city of Kelowna. It lays down there along the lake, and on another side you can see West Kelowna. I'm going home, and then we'll check the results, and I don't know, we'll check the results. This is it. Okay, I'm not quite sure that you can hear it because my mic just died a few minutes ago, but anyway, so let's check the voltage first and then the numbers in the app. And the voltage is 132.1 volts, and this is the app, so it's exactly 50%. Single mileage for this ride was 65 kilometers, and the voltage is 132.3 volts. What is great about this range is that you literally never think about either it will be enough or not when you come out from your home. If you think about it this way, it's just a tad heavier than the Lynx that has 1300 watt-hour battery less than this thing.
Talking about the ride quality, it's more stable, no wobbles, very smooth. An improved Lynx. Really. I'm not saying the Lynx was a wobbly wheel, but you could definitely make it wobble by accident. The Sherman L doesn't have that problem at all. It doesn't wobble. It is an incredibly comfortable, stable wheel, so something that they changed fixed that issue, and I believe the issue was with the weight allocation, so the center of mass is now lower, and it feels so. The happy speed is up around 45 to 65 kilometers an hour, and it'll accelerate up to 75 kilometers or even faster with no real effort. Sometimes you don't even realize that you are going that fast, and you're like, oh, I'm going 75 kilometers an hour right now. And for that reason, I set my speed limit to 80 with beeping at 75, because for my use case, I don't really need more, but it's definitely possible. And the actual speed limit, I would say, is somewhere around 100 kilometers an hour, give it or take, maybe even more. But I wouldn't test it, I wouldn't risk. It's way too much speed, and it's not what you gotta do on an electric unicycle, because just one wheel device. Yeah. Now talking about other important differences, we have to mention charging. Both wheels comes with a standard 5 amp LeaperKim charger, and because of the bigger battery, it will take you about 7 hours to charge it from 0% to 100%, which is about 2.5 hours longer than it would take for the Lynx. And if you wonder if it is noisy, yes, it is a noisy charger. So if you don't have a garage, I think your best choice would be balcony or something like that. So don't charge it outside, but charging inside is a little bit tricky because it's noisy. So I think charging during the day, the night time is going to be a little tricky. So, but that's the boring stuff, right? You come back from a ride, you plug it in, and it starts charging. This is it. You don't really care about the time while it's charging. You care about the time though when you go somewhere for a very long ride. The good news is that the Sherman L supports up to 20 amp chargers versus only 15 amp chargers for the Lynx, which is really handy for those very long rides. With their fastest charging options, you're looking at about 1.5 to 2 hours for both wheels because of the battery difference, which is great because it's rarely 0 to 100%. Usually you just get a meal, stop, and start charging. And while you're getting a meal, you get some juice, and you continue going after that. And this is a great option.
Let me show you real quick the exterior of the wheel. It's not much, but for those who are not familiar with both wheels, it should be something new, I guess. So yeah, the front light is pretty much the same. The rear light is the same as well. The shape of the handles is slightly different, but functionally they are the same. This piece is the same. The mount is slightly different, but the piece itself is the same. It's the same shape, so you can print these guys out of TPU to make the grip a little bit wider here. The pedals are the same as well. Some people don't like them. I do like them because they kind of a good balance in between of you locked on the wheel and enough of grip for trails. They are probably not the best, but I generally like them and I'm not going to change them anytime soon. Talking about power pads, I kept the original ones that I got with the wheel. I bought both of my wheels from E-Wheels, and I'm not quite sure it's either E-Wheels or LeaperKim partner with this third-party manufacturer of power pads, but these power pads are legit and I think that they are good for 99% of anything that you might do on your electric unicycle. This is a TNT Novi tire, and this is an amazing tire. This is basically the clone of the infamous Shinka whatever, I don't remember the number, but everyone loves that tire. So this is the exact clone of that. It's a soft rubber tire. It's an amazing tire for off-roading, for asphalt roads, because you can easily curve on this tire with no any issues. It's very controllable. Absolutely love this tire. Also, they have a street tire from TNT, and I heard some good feedback about it as well, so highly recommend to install this tire if you haven't yet. I absolutely love this trolley handle. To open it, you need to press here and it goes up and it is solid. I absolutely love this trolley handle. It has the actual handlebar here, so you can, I don't know, control your wheel and do whatever. The height is more than enough for my height. I'm a pretty tall fella, and yeah, absolutely love this. The only thing that I added here is a soft pad, because if you don't, it rattles a little bit down here when you ride. So I think that LeaperKim should come up with some kind of solution, some kind of a soft pad that should be in this area for the next revisions of this wheel, but it's just not a real complaint really, but it could be done better slightly, but this thing is almost ideal. I absolutely love it. As for the screen and the buttons, I don't really like this screen, although it's functional enough to change your settings once in a while and forget about it, but at the same time it could be done better, like on the V13, although it's an expensive component, I believe, at least more expensive than this one, but I would prefer they change it over time, because sometimes if you don't remember what option you need to change, it's kind of unclear and you need to check your instructions or Google it. So it's not ideal. Some of you guys ask what is going on with the screen, with all that colorful stuff on the screen. I have no idea what is going on. I think this is some kind of a polarization effect from the lens or from the camera or from the sensor. I have no idea really. It's filming this screen like that for some reason. Other cameras are filming it in a proper way as you see it with your bare eyes, so it's flat black and white screen, but for some reason my mirrorless camera is filming it like it was exposed to gasoline or something like that. I have no idea. I didn't damage it or did anything wrong with the screen, so it is what it is, and it looks like that.
Okay, another important difference here, and this might be the most important one after the battery size. The Sherman L has 6 parallels instead of the 4 parallels that the Lynx has. Because of that, it's much safer. The wheel's performance is better, obviously, which also makes it safer, and the batteries will just hold up longer. Let's quickly dive into that. First, safety. With more parallels, each battery cell handles less stress. This drastically reduces the risk of overheating, that they call thermal runaway. This means that it will most likely be more stress resistant when it's hot outside, for example, or when you are putting your wheel under a lot of consistent stress, say you're going up a mountain for a long period of time, or something like that. Then there is a higher discharge current, and this is a big one because it's really about the performance. The 6P can deliver 50% more continuous power than the 4P one. This gives you more acceleration and better torque overall without straining the cells. In practice, it means when you accelerate, you'll see a lot of less battery sag, especially when your battery is getting low, which again is safer and, well, just in general, a better performance. On paper, the Sherman should accelerate faster than the Lynx, and while a lot of people might say that they feel the same, and yeah, the Sherman L might feel heavier because of its weight, but the physics says it should be faster. To be honest, it actually feels faster than my previous Lynx, for me personally, but it really depends. Also longevity. With the 6 parallel setups, the cells should last significantly longer, simply because each one is working at a lower stress. That means less degradation over charge and discharge cycles. And again, this is difficult to test for real, but theoretically your wheel should last and serve you longer, simply because the battery cells will degrade slower. I also mentioned the faster charging before. It can safely accept higher charging currents because that load gets spread across more cells. Personally, I would stick to 15 amp instead of 20 just to be on the safe side because of heat building up in the wires, but it's just my opinion. You do you. You probably should take that advice with a grain of salt because I'm not a certified electrician of any kind and our use cases are probably different.
Do you want to hear about the downside? Because what I said here is mostly flowers and butterflies, everything is great and blah blah blah. Well, if you go somewhere and you need to load this wheel in your truck, yeah, it's heavy. It's not impossible, but it feels like a preparation when we go with the boys to another city to explore, that kind of stuff. The video is coming up, by the way. And yeah, I'm not a small guy by any means, but dealing with this kind of weight, while possible, isn't fun when you just want to grab something small and go.
Don't be a cunt.
Yet, it's still more manageable than any e-bike I can think of, and the range is so enormous that usually you don't need an extra vehicle. So there you go. You wanted a con? You got one.
Honestly, I think the whole EUC industry is going to plateau for a little while. The reason is simple, I just don't see any coming breakthroughs for better technology. For example, talking about breakthroughs, a few years back we got a suspension which was a huge deal because it improved the quality and comfort and safety as well. Then performance and safety peaked to the point where we are now. The torque is literally limited by the grip of the single tire we have. And now what? The only thing that I could even ask for on my Sherman L is for it to be a little lighter, and that's not even a real complaint. I literally don't know what else could be improved besides maybe the price. Right now, the Sherman L for the price is pretty much the best options that you can get. For the price, you get the top tier wheel, the best performance, range, and safety. The build quality is excellent. Everything about it is. I honestly don't know what could be asked from a wheel today. Don't get me wrong though. I'm not saying this is the best wheel of them all. No, what I'm saying is that this is the best long-range wheel in that medium to heavy premium class. Choosing between the Lynx and the L, I would definitely pick the L, simply because its value is better. Yes, it is slightly heavier, which is a downside on trails, but you get significantly more range, battery, performance, and safety in return. And based on the simple numbers, the Sherman is a pick. But is it just plain better than the Lynx? I'd say yes and no. The Lynx is still probably the best all-around wheel because it's great for everything, commuting, trails, whatever. It's a great medium. The L is better in every category except for those forest trails where it's just a little less comfortable than the Lynx for off-roading.
Talking about off-roading, let's go somewhere there. And yeah, well, technically it's off the road, but I wouldn't consider it as off-roading. It's quite simple for an electric unicycle, so let's go there. What is the best about these things? They can take you to some absolutely gorgeous places.
If you can afford the L, get the L. If you can't afford the L, just get the Lynx. And you will be happy with both because both are amazing wheels. They are both fantastic choices if you are looking for a powerful, safe, long-range wheel. Okay, so this is it. This is the end of the video. I really hope that you enjoyed the whole video thing, that flow of my thoughts and, you know, my opinion on this product. I generally enjoy it. I have 2 wheels of this kind and I absolutely love them. But anyway, while you're still here, don't forget to like it or dislike it, depending on either you like it or hate it. I'm fine with all, it's just a feedback, but it will help YouTube algorithms to either show or hide this video. So decide by yourself. You're an adult people. Thank you for your time. See you next time.
This is a trail going down to Paul's Tomb. It's an absolutely gorgeous hike, about 30 minutes long one way, and then you need to get back, but it is fantastic, really. Okay, and we got a fork here, so the trail is going this way and it keeps being beautiful as you just saw. But we need to go to the opposite way because we are testing the range today, not the trail. Although the trail is super good. I wish I could. No, not today.